Good morning. Welcome to our thought for this day, this Wednesday, the 31st of March. I love nothing more than sitting around a campfire, warming myself in the dark. So this is an easy story to step into and choose yourself a character and wonder how you might have responded. Our reading this Wednesday in Holy Week is taken from Luke 22, starting at verse 54. Then they seized him and led him away, bringing him into the high priest's house. But Peter was following at a distance. When they had kindled a fire in the middle of the courtyard and sat down together, Peter sat among them. Then a servant girl, seeing him in the firelight, stared at him and said, "This man also was with him." But he denied it, saying, "Woman, I do not know him." A little later, someone else, on seeing him, said, "You are also one of them." But Peter said, "Man, I'm not." Then about an hour later, yet another kept insisting, "Surely this man was also with him, for he is a Galilean." But Peter said, "Man, I do not know what you're talking about." At that moment, while he was still speaking, the cock crowed. The Lord turned and looked at Peter. Then Peter remembered the word of the Lord, how he had said to him, "Before the cock crows today, you will deny me 3 times." And he went out and wept bitterly. Now the men who were holding Jesus began to mock him and beat him. They also blindfolded him and kept asking him, "Prophesy, who is it that struck you?" They kept heaping many other insults on him. When day came, the assembly of the elders of the people, both chief priests and scribes, gathered together. They brought him to their council. They said to him, "If you are the Messiah, tell us." He replied, "If I tell you, you will not believe, and if I question you, you will not answer. But from now on, the Son of Man will be seated at the right hand of the power of God." All of them asked, "Are you then the Son of God?" He said to them, "You say that I am." Then they said, "What further testimony do we need? We've heard it ourselves from his own lips." Imagine the scene and step into it for a few moments. It's rather comforting thought of sitting by a fire on a chilly April evening in Palestine. Peter has remained loyal up to this point, unlike the other disciples, and is sitting comfortably, warming himself. Maybe it's the tiredness, or maybe the threats against him. But Peter lets his guard down, as happens many times to all of us, as problems often surface in the night when we least are able to tackle them and deal with the real issues. But here, deep in the enemy camp, Jesus is being tested, beaten, and taunted by the soldiers and guards. Peter has got this far, but now Peter is tested by the question from a servant girl, a humble servant girl. She has no real power, but Peter flinches from the accusation that he was with Jesus. A few others join in accusing Peter of being a follower, which he denies. An hour later, while Jesus is still being tortured in the background, and Peter's accused for the 3rd time, Peter stumbles out the reply, "I don't know what you're talking about." Despite being able to see Christ and hear what is being done to him, he denies knowing him. Yes, he may have been tired and hungry or even frightened given the presence of the soldiers and guards. It was late at night and his friends were no longer around him. But his resolve had got him into the courtyard, but that's where he fails. Jesus looks directly at him, and in that instant the cock crows, and Peter knows that he's been found wanting. Peter went outside and wept bitterly at his own betrayal of Jesus. I think in some way we've all been there. Today in Holy Week is a good time to reflect on these events again, and our parts in not being all we should be, and fearful of Christ looking us in the face questioningly. How have we not proclaimed Jesus and his saving grace as loudly as we should have? We serve a loving God, and so there can't be a better time to look to him and seek his forgiveness and humbly ask for a new way forward. The whole point of grace is that this is what it is all about despite the past. Don't we serve an amazing, loving Saviour? Let us all seek him this Holy Week. May he bless you on this day as you prepare to celebrate in a few days' time the greatest day in history. God bless you all. Thank you for joining us this morning.